Hello everyone, we are Group 2B and today we would like to talk about American public school in education reforms. This is our content in our presentation. It has 7 parts, as you can see on the slide. The first of all is a summary of the movie. The movie talks about teachers are the person who is closest to the pupils and who train character via personality, so that they have must be high quality on purpose train generation of good students. And America education girlfriend Canada consider inequality exists in the education industry, particularly in how teachers are treated among themselves. Many talented teachers wish to devote their lives to education in America, but they are constrained by a number of factors, such as extensive and involves numerous steps, rigid and several policies, and inequality in pay. The next part, the next part is teaching standard. In a kid whose parents want the kid to do well but are often for good reason about whether the kid will get a fair chance, but and they try ultimately to get them into charter school system and rely on the lottery system of the picking who get in and who doesn't. The content of the American education system is falling, focus on African American educator named Dorothy Canada, who deliberately chose the poorest area of Harlem to open his Harlem Success Economy. This led to qualified kid teacher, highly motivated and better paid, emphasis on college prep from day one, and they received a tutoring for those behind in math and reading. One problem with most schools is that after teachers get tenure on 2 years, it is almost impossible to find them. In Illinois, for example, one one out of 57 doctors lose his medical license, but only one in 2,000 teacher is fired. The next part is teacher appraisal and is presented by that.
Yes, thank you. I will talk about teacher appraisal. So what is the teacher appraisal? Uh, Teacher appraisal is a continuous process centered on clear conversation, uh, collaboration, uh, observation, feedback, reflection, and trust. So there is a professional performance evaluation process, including many steps to evaluate a teacher and stick rules to replace to a failure teacher. Different indicators should be used for appraising teacher different rank subjects or groups in order to reflect their performance under different areas. And teacher were strictly evaluated, and best teachers should be fined to guarantee the quality of the education offered to children. While there's nothing more difficult than the life of a teacher, sometimes it doesn't because they are bad teacher. They are just battling with learning at school, issue at home, and also root from the system at the same time. And the next I divide to talk about teacher data.
Thank you. Now we will talk about teacher tenures. It's a policy that restricts the ability to fire teachers, requiring a just cause rationale for hiring. Actual state roughly 2.3 school teachers in the US have tenure. It's protect professor with politically unpopular opinion being fired. So tenure the guarantees employment, it does make firing teachers difficult and costly. One that involves the union, the school boss, the principal, and judicial system, and thousands of dollars in legal fee. In most states, a tenured teachers can be dismissed until charges are filed and month of evaluation, hearing and appeal have occurred. Meanwhile, school districts must sell out thousands of dollars for paid leave and substitute instructor. The system is deliberately slow and cumbersome in order to dissuade school boss and parent from ousting a teacher for personal or political motives. So tenure is still for bad teacher. Lemon dance or rubber room where dozens of teachers are paid to sit, read the newspaper, sleep, and not teach because they protect in their dog. In conclusion, tenure used to be the Superman, the solution to protect teachers and the processor, but now it's reproduced and become the problem. Now let us move to the next part and it presented by Thủy.
And thanks. And now let's move on with teacher unions. Teacher unions or alternatively education unions are organizations founded to protect and advance the collective interests of teachers and other education workers. So what is a teacher and union contract? As the protectorates of the best and the good teachers, unions have prevented comprehensive education reform by this allowing poor teachers to be fired without of just 24 steps process to remove the openings pedagogues because bad teachers know that they have a legal contract that is fully supported by the teachers union. They tend to lax up in their instruction and effort that they give their students. At the end of the year, because the teacher has contract, the school superintendent is unable to fire him or her, so that teacher is then passed on to other schools in hope that the previous school will receive a better replacement. So is the unions actually effective? The unfortunate reality is that teacher unions protect not the good teacher, but the bad teacher. The teacher union are clearly losing the battle. So what is the solution? First, having inter-evaluation. Second, organizing training program to be a teacher meeting the standard. Last, applying tenure and other punishment for the teacher who breaks the rule. Rather than waiting for Superman, we must deal with the complicated but exciting reality that teacher needs to resources and support to do their job well. We need to develop and support the teacher to whom we entrust our children education. And next we will talk about assessment of main argument and comment.
Thank you, Thủy. And the next part, I will introduce you to assessment of main argument and comments on main argument. The first part, assessment of the main argument. Tenure and teacher union cause problems. And there are two main problems caused by tenure and teacher union. The first one is that different term of pollution comes to bring about educational reforms. However, these policies don't have mutual succession. They overlap and contradict each other. This causes inconsistent policy implementation, cause chaos in management, teaching, and learning. And the second problem is that decline in school performance, quality of education, and large drop rates in public schools in US. These are These are all the result of a whole audited and cumbersome machine. Not all are responsibilities taken by the teachers. The power in the tenure is so huge that the school principals, they that don't have the power to make a change. They cannot fire with qualified teachers. Meanwhile, good and qualified teachers, they are discouraged due to problems in the contracts with tenure. Therefore, this causes good qualified teachers. They lose interest in working and also allows bad teachers. They train poor qualified students. And all of this leads to the poor quality of education and performance. However, society cannot completely blame all of the responsibilities for teachers. We still consider to education, environment, management, and parents. We want to improve we should improve public education and share responsibilities. Parents, teachers, administrators, students, and the community should come together to make our school great. The next part, comment about the main argument. The first one is public schools, they lack qualified teachers. Parents in US, they prefer their children to attend charter schools or public schools where provide high quality training. But the reality is that the students' population grows too large. So the schools can only accept a small number of students, and this causes unhappiness in American culture. The next one is that the government, they doesn't focus on investing in education. The budget for a year is equivalent to a student's tuition for only 12 years of school. In the US, the wealth divide makes it difficult for poor family to find a school for their children. The next one, the gap between levels of knowledge is too wide, causing students to lose their interest. So the number of students, they drop out in significant numbers. And the last one, last but not least, in terms of school reform, US government leaders are too far conservative. They aim to impose one-side education. Children's goal is influenced by elements such as family, school, and society. They always believe that high crime rates are related to families and social reasons, but they fail to recognize that the most important thing is to logically modify the educational system in order to establish a positive learning environment for children. That's the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening.